The downhill chute turned into a steel trap. Tires howled, metal screamed against guardrail. Rio's car snap-spun, smoke blinding the track. 99. The number felt like a curse. He watched Sakura's pink RX-7 glide past, her taillights mocking him. The crowd recoiled as one. Phones captured his disaster. Their silence cut deeper than any roar. She didn't even look back. Her drift was poetry in motion, every turn a deliberate carve into his pride.
Why? Why can't I ever beat her? She's not just faster, she's untouchable.
99, Rio. Do you even remember what winning feels like?
Through the open window, she extended a small, neatly folded note. Her crimson glove held it like a taunt.
Take it. Read it when I'm gone.
She released the paper, and Rio unfolded it with shaking fingers. The handwriting was sharp, rushed. 100th race. Win, and I'll tell you the truth. Lose, and never ask again.
Truth. What truth could justify years of ice-cold silence? She walked away without a word.
But before the silence, there was a promise. Back when they were just two kids who shared a love for the roar of an engine.
You really think you can keep up with me, Rio?
Just you wait. One day I'll leave you in the dust.
She beat him easily. He laughed it off as a fluke, but the losses piled up, each one a cold surprise. Then came the family emergency, a whispered phone call she never fully explained. After that, her eyes went hollow.
She just stopped. Everything. No more late-night drives. No more laughing at my jokes. Like I was a stranger.
The rabbit keychain dangled from the gear shift, a promise they'd always race together. He never had the heart to remove it. Then one night, she said it was over. No reason, no apology, just a void where her warmth used to be.
If winning is the only way to dig up the truth, then I'll win. But this ache, it's not just about racing.
The days blurred into a haze of burnt rubber and sleepless nights. Rio pushed his car to its limits, chasing a ghost.
Every corner, every drift, I feel her presence, like she's waiting for me to fail again.
While searching for a spare fuse under the workbench, his fingers brushed against something small and familiar.
This little rabbit. She gave it to me the night we promised to race forever.
Later, on a detour through the industrial district, a flash of pink caught his eye. Sakura stood beside her car. A man in a black suit loomed over her, his silhouette sharp against the garage light.
You know the price of failure. Don't test me again.
Price? He's threatening her. All this time, she's been a puppet.
The man yanked Sakura into the garage, and the door slammed shut.
I am going to win that 100th race and drag the truth out of the shadows.
Race night descended with a heavy mist. Neon lights bled red and purple across the asphalt. The mountain pass swarming with a restless crowd.
No more rehearsals. Tonight, either I break her spell or I vanish from her world.
Sakura stared straight ahead, but the flicker in her eyes betrayed a fear she couldn't swallow. Rio popped his door and strode to her window. The crowd hushed.
I am calling the wager. If I win tonight, you tell me everything. No more games.
Her nod was almost imperceptible, but her gloved hand trembled on the wheel. The flag girl's arms slashed down. Engines screamed, and the two cars shot into the darkened curves. For 3 kilometers they danced. Rio's Sylvia clung to her bumper, tires wailing through each corner.
She's flawless, but I see it now. She's fighting for more than a win.
They entered the second sector, with neither gaining the advantage. A perfect, terrifying stalemate. The first time they stood at a drift event together, the roar of engines felt like a heartbeat they shared. At the carnival, she hung the rabbit keychain on his rear view, sealing a promise she meant with every fiber.
As long as this little rabbit rides with us, we'll never lose each other.
But the first time she left him choking in tire smoke, that promise fractured into something unrecognizable. Now, inside her cockpit, Sakura's eyes fell on the wrinkled photo. Her, Rio, and a younger boy.
Look at us, before everything went wrong. I am so close to losing you both.
Rio caught the flicker of hesitation in her mirror. For a split second, her defense cracked.
That's not the face of a rival. That's the face of someone trapped.
The second sector ended. The third loomed ahead, sharp and unforgiving. Sakura's grip on the wheel tightened, her knuckles white under the red glove. They plunged into the forbidden hairpin, the same turn where their shared car had kissed the guardrail years ago.
This corner remembers. One wrong move, and we're both wreckage. But I have to push her.
Rio flung his Sylvia into the corner with reckless precision. Tires smoking, rear bumper inches from the metal barrier. Inside her cockpit, Sakura's foot hovered over the brake, the memory of their old crash freezing her for a half second. That hesitation was all Rio needed. He surged alongside, their doors almost touching through the drift. For the first time, he saw the dashboard photo clearly. 3 faces, one a teenage boy with Sakura's eyes.
Her brother. She's been fighting for her family while I thought she was the enemy.
Their engines screamed in unison. The 2 cars locked together, neither yielding an inch. Sakura snapped back, her jaw set with desperate resolve. She would not let him pass. The hairpin spat them out onto the straightaway. Still nose to nose, but Rio knew the terrible weight she carried.
The boy in the photo. Her brother. I have to break through her wall. Now.
The final kilometer stretched ahead, illuminated by the blinking neon of the distant finish line.
Sakura. I saw the photo. Who are you protecting? Tell me what they're holding over you.
Her head twitched toward the radio. That frequency, she hadn't heard his voice on it since before the silence. Her breath hitched. The car wobbled, losing its perfect line for a fatal instant. Rio didn't wait. He pinned the throttle, his Sylvia lunging ahead by a fender. The finish line blurred past. Ryo's nose crossed first, a victory thinner than a heartbeat. The crowd's roar flattened into disbelief. Phones froze midair. Sakura's car rolled to a silent stop. Inside his cockpit, Rio slumped, no triumph in his eyes, only a raw, aching question.
I won. Now tell me the truth, Sakura. All of it.
Rio pushed open the door into a wall of noise, cheers and disbelief blurring together under the neon glow. But his eyes swept past the crowd, searching for the one person who mattered. Then he saw her. Sakura stumbled out of her car, her composure shattered, tear tracks cutting through the glow. She shoved through the stunned spectators, her movements frantic and unsteady. Before Rio could brace himself, she collided with him, fists clutching his jacket like a lifeline.
Rio, please. Come back to me. I can't lose you again.
Lose me. She's the one who vanished. Why now? What is she really afraid of?
Her words were everything he'd longed to hear, yet they hit like a trapdoor swinging open under his feet. His hands remained at his sides, neither pushing her away nor pulling her close.
This isn't over. Whatever game she's playing, I'll uncover the truth behind those tears. I honored my half of the wager. Now, Sakura, why did you leave?
Not here. They're watching. Please, take me somewhere safe.
Rio looked past her tear-streaked face. A black SUV idled at the edge of the crowd, its tinted windows like unblinking eyes. He grabbed her wrist and pulled her toward his car. The drive to the garage was a silent, tension-filled blur.
Start talking. Who was that man? And what does he have on you?
She pulled out her phone with trembling fingers. The screen showed a photo of her brother, bruised and bound.
Kuroda controls the underground betting. He took my brother to force me to dominate every race.
You've been a prisoner this whole time, and I blamed you.
The weight of her sacrifice settled over him, heavy as a grave.
We're getting your brother back. Kuroda won't touch either of you again.
He wanted to believe her, but the years of lies had left scars no single confession could erase.
She's holding back. After all this time, if she can't trust me with the whole truth.
I know I don't deserve your trust, but every race I won against you was to keep Takumi alive. I am so sorry.
The word sorry hung in the air, fragile and insufficient.
Show me. If Kuroda is real, show me proof that this isn't just another game.
With shaking hands, She fumbled for her phone and tapped the screen. The video played, Takumi, bruised and terrified, while Kuroda's cold voice demanded the 100th victory, or else.
That voice. The same man from the garage. This is no lie. I'll help you. But when this is over, you and I are going to have a very long conversation.
He meant to sound threatening, but her broken smile pierced through his anger like a needle. An hour later, they sat in a corner booth of an all-night diner, two untouched coffees growing cold between them.
Kuroda sent a message. He demands a rematch tonight. If I don't throw the race, Takumi pays.
You are not throwing anything. But maybe I can. What if I enter for you and stage a loss?
He grabbed a napkin and began sketching a mountain curve, a wall, an X for the crash point.
I'll wear a wire. When Kuroda shows up gloating, the police will have everything they need.
But that means you'll crash. For real. Your car, your body. Ryo? No.
It's just metal and rubber. Your brother's life is worth more. I am doing this.
For a moment, the only sound was the hum of the diner fridge. Then she nodded, tears silent.
I am putting my life on the line for a woman who might still be playing me. But if she's not...
The plan was set. Outside the diner window, the first hint of dawn bled into the night sky. Back in the garage, the dawn light barely touched the oil-stained floor. Ryo turned to face her, his voice low.
I keep asking myself, are you here because you love me, or because I am convenient?
Sakura flinched, her arms wrapping around herself as if to hold the pieces together.
I kept this. All this time, every loss, every lonely night, this little rabbit was all I had left.
She recognized it instantly. Her hand flew to her mouth, a muffled sob escaping.
Real. I broke us, but I never stopped loving you. Not for a single day.
The words hung between them, raw and unguarded. For a heartbeat, the garage was a church.
If we survive tonight, we start over. No more secrets. Promise me.
I promise. Just come back to me in one piece.
The keychain passed between them. A tiny bridge over years of wreckage. Night fell again on the mountain pass. But the neon flickered over a sparse, uneasy crowd. Inside his Sylvia, Ryo taped the wire beneath his jacket, the cold device a promise of exposure. Across the pass, a black SUV idled. Kuroda watched a drone feed on a tablet, a predator's grin tracing his lips.
The princess who lost her crown, tonight. She learns what failure costs.
He's watching every move. If I don't sell this perfectly, Takumi is dead.
Sakura sat rigid in her car, the rabbit keychain now dangling from her own rearview mirror.
Ryo, please be careful. I can't lose you now.
The flag girl, confused by the thin turnout, raised her arm with hesitation. Then the signal dropped. Ryo punched the throttle, his tires biting into the asphalt. For the first 100 meters, he drove like a demon. The chase was on. A deadly performance with a single, unforgiving audience. Ryo flashed his high beams twice. The signal. The trap was set to snap shut.
Forgive me, Sakura. This is going to hurt.
In her rearview, Sakura saw the wobble first, a tiny betrayal of control. Her heart stopped. He forced the wheel into the skid, sending the Sylvia into a violent, deliberate spiral. The world became a scream of metal and shattering glass as the car kissed the wall at 70 miles an hour.
Ryo, answer me, please.
A column of dust and fire blotted out the neon. Then silence, except for the hiss of a ruptured radiator. In his SUV, Kuroda set down the tablet. The ghost of a smile played on his lips. The wreckage of Ryo's Sylvia lay crumpled against the mountain, a sacrificial offering to a false victory.
That's the price of defiance. Now bring me the brother. I have a lesson to deliver.
Kuroda's SUV crunched over shattered glass. He stepped out like a king surveying a conquered field, smoke curling around his polished shoes.
Still breathing in there? Or did my little princess finally fail me completely?
Sakura had already abandoned her car, sprinting through the acrid smoke, her brother's name tearing from her throat. Inside the crushed cockpit, Ryo's blood-slicked fingers pressed the wire tighter. Every word Kuroda spoke was gold.
You think your brother's suffering ends here? I own the betting circuit. I own you after tonight. You'll race when I say, or I'll send the boy back in pieces.
Distant sirens, faint at first, then a wail that swallowed the mountain. Kuroda froze. His men scattered. Blue and red flooded the fog like judgment delivered. Ryo kicked the crumpled door open, blood streaking his temple. The wire dangling from his jacket like a trophy. Kuroda's empire crumbled in handcuffs. But Ryo had no triumph left, only the desperate need to find her. A paramedic pressed gauze to Ryo's temple, but he ignored the sting. His eyes stayed locked on Sakura, who stood trembling a few feet away. Her phone buzzed. She answered with trembling fingers, and a stranger's voice said, "Your brother's safe." The phone slipped from her hand. She sank to the wet asphalt, sobs tearing through her chest. Ryo watched the weight of years lift from her shoulders. He had never seen her so broken or so free. Paramedics wheeled a gurney past. Takumi, wrapped in a silver blanket, managed a weak smile when he saw his sister. Sakura threw her arms around him, her sobs muffled against his shoulder. No words were needed. Later, in the quiet of the ambulance bay, Sakura gently wiped dried blood from Ryo's forehead with a piece of gauze.
You did the hard part. I just crashed a car.
Thank you for everything.
Ryo nodded. But the words he really wanted to say to Sakura still tangled in his throat. Days later, the garage was quiet. Ryo leaned over a dismantled part, his bandaged temple a dull throb. Sakura appeared in the open doorway, silhouetted by the warm afternoon sun. She crossed the oil-stained floor and knelt before him, taking his grease-stained hands in her soft ones.
I am not here because I need a protector. I am here because I am empty without you. Every race I won was a prison. You were the only freedom I ever knew.
She's holding my hands like a lifeline. But can I ever truly trust her again?
I'll spend the rest of my life earning you back, if you'll let me.
The rabbit keychain hung from her neck now, resting against her heart. Ryo's jaw clenched. Words swelled in his throat, but fear locked them behind his teeth. The afternoon sun stretched their shadows across the concrete. The silence grew heavy with everything unsaid. Ryo looked down at her bowed head, the rabbit keychain glinting against her heart. He couldn't let her kneel any longer.
Get up. I never stopped loving you either. But I can't just pretend the last few years didn't happen. If we do this, there are no more walls between us. No secrets. No half-truths.
I swear it. I'll be an open book.
Then let's start slow. Race together as partners, not rivals.
A muffled laugh escaped her as he pulled her gently into his arms. They shared a hesitant, gentle kiss, a first step across a rebuilt bridge. When they parted, Ryo's eyes were wet but resolute.
Welcome back, Sakura.
The garage no longer felt like a tomb of old memories. It hummed with the quiet promise of a new beginning. A week later, the mountain pass bloomed with cherry blossoms. The asphalt, once a battlefield, lay quiet under the warm sun. Ryo's repaired Sylvia and Sakura's RX-7 sat side by side at the start line, their engines purring with no hunger for battle.
No crowd, no wager, just us. Ready to prove you can finally keep up?
He laughed and climbed into his seat. The engines rose in a gentle harmony as they pulled away, tires rolling in perfect unison.
This is how it should have always been. Just us, carving the road together.
The rabbit's riding with me today. Old habit. Or maybe a good luck charm.
The little keychain swung from his gear shift, catching the sunlight like a promise finally kept. Through each curve, their cars moved like a single heartbeat, tires humming a duet that filled the mountain air. Sakura glanced over, a carefree laugh escaping as Ryo's car inched ahead for just a moment. Before falling back in step, they crested the summit under a shower of pink petals. No finish line needed, Only the open road ahead, 99 times. Rio watched her taillights disappear into the mist. Each loss carved a scar he thought would never heal. The 100th race was never about a trophy. It was about shattering a prison built on blackmail and fear. When she collapsed against him and begged, it wasn't a trick. It was the first honest thing she'd said in years. They rebuilt trust, one small promise at a time. A keychain, a hesitant kiss, the courage to start over. Now, the mountain wore cherry blossoms instead of skid marks. The road remembered, but it also forgave. The rabbit keychain swung from his rear view, a tiny witness to a promise finally kept. They drove like a single heartbeat, two cars locked in perfect sync, no longer rivals, but partners. When they crossed the painted line, it wasn't a finish. It was a declaration of everything they'd built. The score no longer mattered. The 99 losses were never failures. They were the price of a future worth having. And for the first time, the road ahead didn't feel lonely. It felt endless and bright. The sun bled gold and rose across the mountain pass. The road now a peaceful ribbon. The rabbit keychain caught the light, swinging from the gear shift with a gentle, steady rhythm. Sakura reached across the console, her red glove warm as she laced her fingers through his. She tilted her head, her violet eyes shimmering with a vulnerability she'd never dared show before.
No more losses.
Rio's lips curved into a faint smile, the kind that comes after a long, hard winter. He tightened his grip, and the keychain swayed like a tiny bell of triumph. They drove through the fading light, the engine's purr, a quiet, faithful companion. Ahead, the road vanished into the horizon, but it didn't matter. They were already home. They crossed the finish line together and never looked back. From the mountain's peak, the winding road below looked like a silver thread, each curve a memory, each straightaway a promise. 99 defeats had carved a hollow inside Ryo's chest. Tonight, that hollow was filled, not with vengeance, but with her. The black Sylvia bore a new pink cherry blossom sticker, a silent testament to the collision of two worlds. The rabbit keychain danced in the warm breeze from the open window, as if celebrating a long-awaited homecoming. Sakura's red gloves rested lightly on the wheel, no longer weapons in a war, but tools of a shared art where tires once painted aggressive arcs of defiance. Cherry blossom petals now drifted, gentle, unhurried, absolute. They didn't need a finish line anymore. Every mile was a quiet victory lap in a race no one else would ever understand. Rio caught her gaze one last time, and in the mirror, she was no longer an opponent, just the girl who had always held his heart. And so they drifted onward, not into the sunset, but into the new dawn of every tomorrow they'd chosen to share. Above the hum of the engines, the rabbit keychain sang the only truth that ever mattered. Love isn't about winning, it's about staying on the road together.